Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
Yeah, I'm looking for a topic that's a mix of maybe like gun rights and artificial intelligence, or I don't know, some controversy.
Up to the second window, and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John, here with Jamie. Dude, she got a little eager beaver, didn't she?
That rude lady cut me off, and I am not here for it.
I am sure that that's the only time that lady has ever been rude to you in your entire life.
Not even today. She will be reprimanded.
If you're new here, that is Jamie's daughter. That was recorded, golly, how many years ago now?
It's been years, and we made her voice deeper with sound effects. She really sounds like that now. We should redo it.
Which is weird because she did not sound like that when we recorded, and thanks to technology, it sounds different. But you know, sounds like we're going to talk about a little technology today mixed with gun rights. I'm eager / apprehensive.
I don't know if it's necessarily gun. I mean, there's a gun involved, so I think that comes up. Basically, we're going to go back to Lake County, Florida in June. This is a story that I saw in a lot of different places at the time, and you and I talked about talking about it, but just kind of finding the right way to do it, and I think we have now. There's this Facebook post that came out from the sheriff's office, and it said the Lake County Sheriff's Office received a complaint in the Claremont area regarding a Walmart delivery drone being shot. A bullet hole was discovered in the payload the drone was carrying, the payload being the item or whatever it was carrying, right? Witnesses identified the defendant, Dennis Winn, and directed deputies to his residence, the incident location. Contact was made with the defendant at his residence where a Miranda interview was conducted. Post-Miranda, which is giving you your rights to remain silent and such, the suspect admitted to shooting the drone once with a 9mm pistol. He was taken into custody and charged with shooting at an aircraft, criminal mischief damage over $1,000, and discharging a firearm in public or residential property.
So I have a ton of questions. I hope that you're somewhat prepared to answer some of them. How close was this drone to his property?
Yeah, so we don't really have this here. I know Amazon's doing it and and Walmart's doing it, but the drones, essentially you put the item in it, you program an address, and it'll go and drop it on the porch. It was... Because let's talk about the marksmanship.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
A 9mm is a pistol.
Yeah.
Which is a very close range weapon. But I would so with the drone, it could be 100 feet away from you, or it could be like really, really close. So I was just wondering, like, is there video? Have you seen it?
No,
is this guy like just a master marksman?
It's my understanding that it was within 50 feet or so of the ground. So
still very impressive.
Outstanding shot. But I think brings more into question the legality of flying these things.
Yeah, so let me just give you a hypothetical. Like, if you and your family ordered something from Amazon that was going to be droned to you, there's a good chance it's going to go over my house because we're neighbors, right?
Yep.
Well, I don't really want drones flying over my house, especially at close distance. I don't know if it's an Amazon drone or if it's a neighborhood kid, or maybe Korea's spying on me, right? So do I not own the airspace directly over top of my house to a certain point?
That's a great question. What do you think? I assumed I did.
Well, see, we live in Kentucky, so we're very familiar with mineral rights.
Oh, wow.
Because,
mental rights.
Well,
it's a different episode.
I have a lot of mental issues. No, I'm kidding. But we have mineral rights. So the ground beneath my house, I own all the way through. So if you have a coal company and you want to drill or auger into my land to get to somewhere else, I still get money for that because you're going through my minerals. I thought the law said that it goes from the bottom of my house all the way through the earth, all the way through to a certain point. I mean, I know airplanes have legalities to fly, but with drones, I mean, they can fly 15 feet above your house. I wouldn't think that's legal.
Right. That's a great question. So And of course, planes are the first thing I thought of because they fly over us all the time. We have helicopters flying over us for reasons I still don't really understand. Some are hospital, I guess. Some are probably looking for drugs.
And they fly really close to our house.
They do.
but
It shakes the walls.
I've never questioned the legality of that. I just assume they have free reign.
All right. So this is what I found about federal law. Ownership no longer extends endlessly into space. Today, air rights extend to the airspace above the surface. And this is the key here, that could reasonably be used in connection with the land.
Okay.
So what does that mean? That means building onto your house, putting a flagpole, any kind of recreational activity that you could reasonably use above your house. I'm scared of heights. I never get over my roof, but I could see people doing other projects or, I don't know, tree houses and things like that.
I bet I'm going to throw you off here. My grandparents owned a farm in Virginia, and they contacted a company to do some logging for them, to like not clear a whole mountain, but to just pick and choose some trees, some timber to make some money. They flew in a Chinook helicopter, like a helicopter with two propellers on top.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering now, like, if they crossed into someone else's property, would they be technically flying into someone's, personal space?
If they can reasonably use that area that's connected to your land that you own, then it is a violation. However, that is still regulated, as far as I can tell, by the FAA, by the Federal Aviation Administration. They own the air.
Okay. So if a drone carrying goods for, let's say, Amazon or whatever is flying over my house to get to yours, they have the legality to do so.
As long as it's not interfering with anything you're doing. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
So Billy Bob, or whatever his name is, had no the legality was not on his side to shoot down the Amazon.
right. And so there are also some specific state laws that pertain to this. In Florida, people are not permitted to use drones for surveillance of another person in spaces where they can reasonably expect privacy. So
when I was spying on my neighbor, I was breaking the
that
law
was
in Florida.
In Florida, yes. So, and this goes to, like, this law goes really deep into law enforcement and when they can and can't do that based on a warrant. In California, people are not allowed to enter airspace for the purpose of recording another person in a way that could be seen as objectionable by a reasonable adult.
Okay.
So all of the
But
laws,
it's California, so reasonable adult even has some loopholes in it, right?
yeah, it does. So there's we're going to get a review on that. But it is super vague, right? All the laws are super vague. So I don't know how I feel about this. Like, let's get rid of it. I love the prevention of surveillance. I don't want to live in a world where there are constantly drones flying over my house. I feel like there's already Amazon and FedEx trucks in our neighborhood at all hours.
Yeah.
I don't want those drones there. So I don't know how long this can carry on before we have to get more strict guidelines or create essentially some kind of air highway for aircrafts.
Dude, that's a really great idea, actually. I know that they probably wouldn't be on board with that because an air highway would be more expensive in the long run for them because as a crow flies is faster and probably cheaper, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
But you're right. I don't want to live in a world where I can go sit on my porch for some peace and quiet and there's 30 drones flying over every hour. I don't want to live in that world either.
And I think we're getting closer and closer to that. I mean, and there's some other areas that are probably already very close to that or maybe living in that. Like I said, we don't get that a lot here, but it's coming.
At the same time, like, I do feel like if a drone is being flown too close to my house and I feel like it is looking at me and that's the intent of it, I feel like I should have the legal right to take action.
And he did.
And I do but I guess it depends on Kentucky state law.
Yes. And what is determined legally reasonable. So so many loopholes here, so much gray area, but Mr. Winn was charged and he is guilty of firing his weapon in a residential area, if nothing else. But I think his case and others like it certainly give us an opportunity to talk about those laws and what we would like to see changed. So curious what other people think. If everybody's for, oh no, it's the airspace, like Doc Brown, roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I like that. I think that's the way we are going to end this
I
episode.
think it is. This has been a crime story in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.